The Republican Party has a white supremacy problem, and by extension of that problem being had by the Republican Party, America has a white supremacy problem. I don't know that there's ever been a time in the existence of our occupying this continent, our meaning Americans or pre-Americans, that white supremacy wasn't a problem. Our eradication of native tribes of people, genocide that we visited upon them, the horrors of the slave trade. Took us 150 or 60 years to end slavery, and then started Jim Crow and convict leasing and just generally having the boot of white power on the necks of people of color. World War II, throw in 200,000, over 100,000 American citizens in internment camps because they happen to be of Japanese descent. We've done terrible, terrible things. And the Republican Party is seeing that we continue to do so. They're desperate to maintain the status quo of white supremacy in America. And I'm going long here in this intro, but it's important to set the stage for what is happening and what is taking place and what is continuing to be rooted in policy through color of law. Greg Abbott yesterday pardoned a white supremacist murderer for his crimes. Daniel Perry. I'm going to read this headline in one paragraph, and then I'm going to talk about what he did exactly and the messages that he texted friends, the vile, racist messages he texted friends prior to killing a Black Lives Matter activist and protester following the murder of George Floyd. It's just insult upon insult upon insult. Here's the headline: former U.S. Army sergeant released from prison after Governor Abbott pardons him for 2020 fatal Black Lives Matter protest shooting. Daniel Perry, a former U.S. Army sergeant who was convicted of murdering a protester at a Black Lives Matter rally in 2020, was released from prison Thursday after he was pardoned by Texas Governor Greg Abbott. Perry faced between 5 and 99 years in prison for fatally shooting 28-year-old Air Force veteran Garrett Foster at an Austin, Texas racial justice rally 2 months after the murder of George Floyd in Minneapolis. Now, I would recommend you read this entire article or find another article. You can search Daniel Perry pardon and find an article and read the depths to this guy's depravity. But I'm going to read what he did. But I want to preface it with the messages that he sent prior to going there, running his vehicle into a crowd. When someone confronted him, he shot them. And it seems as though it was premeditated. Here's what he did. Documents related to the case that were unsealed by a Travis County judge following Perry's conviction show he had a years-long history of making racist comments in messages and social media posts. In a Facebook message from May 2020, just weeks before the shooting, Perry told a friend he, quote, might have to kill a few people, unquote, who were rioting outside his apartment. The documents also contain a May 2020 text sent by Perry that said, quote, I might go to Dallas to shoot looters. Some messages included white power memes. Perry wrote in a 2019 message that it was too bad, he spelled two, used the wrong form of two, of course, idiots. Too bad we can't get paid for hunting Muslims in Europe. In a June 1st, 2020 social media comment, Perry compared the Black Lives Matter movement to, quote, a zoo full of monkeys that are freaking out, flinging their shit, unquote, the documents show. So this white supremacist jagoff drove his car into a crowd of protesters, people there legally authorized to protest based on the protections granted us, the rights that are outlined in the Constitution of the United States, a document that he should be well aware of, being at the time an active duty military member, who has raised his right hand and swore to protect and defend this document and the ideas contained herein. So he's a liar on top of it, a breaker, a violator of his oath. This is what he did. Perry, who was stationed at Fort Hood, initiated the fatal encounter when he ran a red light and drove his vehicle into a crowd gathered at the protest. Foster, his victim, was openly carrying an assault-style rifle, legal in Texas, and approached Perry's car and motioned for him to lower his window, at which point Perry fatally shot him with a handgun, prosecutors say. Today, a convicted murderer will walk the streets of Texas. Texas Republicans have once again proven they cannot keep the public safe. They are not the party of tough on crime, and they are not the party of law and order. Texas Democratic Party Chair Gilberto Hinojosa said in a statement responding to the pardon. He added, "Make no mistake, Daniel Perry is a murderer who was on a mission to commit violence against Texans, and today our justice system was hijacked for political gain." In a statement on Thursday, Foster's former fiancée, Whitney Mitchell, said she is heartbroken by this lawlessness, adding Abbott has shown that only certain lives matter. Another quote here, "He has made us all less safe." Daniel Perry texted his friends about plans to murder a protester he disagreed with, she said. After a lengthy trial with an abundance of evidence, 12 impartial Texans determined that he carried out that plan and murdered the love of my life. With this pardon, the governor has desecrated the life of a murdered Texans and pugned the jury's just verdict and declared that citizens can be killed with impunity as long as they hold political views that are different from those in power, Mitchell said. The party of law and order continues to prove themselves to be otherwise. The party of upholding white supremacy, of lifting up white supremacists. Why? Because Donald Trump is one of them. Greg Abbott is one of them. This isn't just for political gain or kudos from the racists in the Republican Party. This is because Greg Abbott, Donald Trump, a host of other figures are active participants in upholding white supremacy. And if they can create fear, foment fear and insecurity about voicing your opinion in a protest, a constitutional right, then maybe fewer people will protest. There will be fewer pushback, less pushback against the tyranny of the Republican Party and the policies they want to put upon us. Anyway, I'd love to know what you think. 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me daily at dollemore.com. If you want to help support my work, if you appreciate my message or the way I deliver it, or just the cut of my stupid jib. I don't even know what a jib is. Please consider supporting the work. You can become a channel member for $2 a month by clicking the join button right here on YouTube. You can go over to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. That's a great way to support. And I'd love to see you on social media if you're already there. I'm at Dollemore, and maybe I'll see you. Be genuine. Take care of one another.